Good evening from InvestSharp. This is Randy Smotone with your Friday, May the 14th market update. On the economic front, the monthly retail sales beat expectations, coming in up 0.4%. The monthly industrial production also beat, coming in up 0.8%, with capacity utilization in line at 73.7%. And the monthly consumer sentiment number was mostly in line at 73.3. On deck for Monday is the monthly Treasury International Capital number and the U.S. Housing Market Index. The dollar was up. Gold, silver, copper, and oil were down. Light sweet crude futures were down another $2.79 to settle at $71.61 a barrel. And I'm not going to take a look at the West Texas Intermediate Crude Point Figure chart because we already know it's on a sell signal with a price objective of like 62. And oil, the rate is going, it probably may get back into the 60s. Dollar ETF here, UUP. Thought the 25 level might, be some resistance here. It did kind of slow down here because, we've got these, but we went kind of flying through it. But this still could have a little bit struggle here. There's not a lot of buying volume really that much in the dollar still, and the MACD is really high, so dollar could have a little pullback coming next week. So we'll watch for that. Let's look at the Dow. Dow closed down 162 points to 10,620. S&P closed down 21 points to 1,135. The Nasdaq closed down 47 points to 2346, and the Russell closed down 15 points to 693. The Dow held up the best, down 1.51%. The Russell was the weakest, down 2.24%. So they were selling the small caps and hanging on to their large cap Dow stocks a little more anyway. I'm not selling them as hard. So the volume across the indices were, it was high, up about 40% higher than average today. Typical when we're selling that hard, and of course we were pulled way up off the lows here. I mean, we were down well over 200 points here on the Dow, and it pulled up off. So that's a good thing. There was a little buy-in here in the last half hour. So that was promising. So if you look at the Dow, I did a Fibonacci here from your February 2010 low to the April highs of 2010. So we've closed above the 61.8%. And of course, this, which is a screwed up day as far as I'm concerned. I don't even like this candle. I don't even like using any of it. So, obviously to almost 100% back down to the low of the 98.35. So I would think, we could bounce here. The MACD has rolled back over. I think, we could get range bound. I'm not sure what's going to happen. I expect us to get a little bounce, into next week. But I would watch for these levels as we continue to fall just below the, just below the 10,400 level. The next would be about 10,150 or so here. And so we'll be watching these levels. I think we could continue to pull back a little more, or maybe we go back and retest this area here. The S&P, similar, if you look, that's not going to help. If you look here, we've kind of touched and touched and touched, and this, touched to here, went back up. So we'll be watching, of course, if we get this week down to here, again, the MACD's roll back over. So, we'll see if we get all the way down to here. And all the indices, including the Russell now, are below its 50-day moving average. The Russell did take out its 50-day moving average today. The other ones already had done that. So pretty bearish. They're all below their 50-day moving average, so you need to be careful with your longs, unless it's going to be intraday trading only, day trading. And look at the Nasdaq. Same thing, MACD's rolled over. We've touched here, almost touched there. So we'll note on the Nasdaq that the 150-day moving average, we closed above it here on April 7th, and it also caught us here. It's caught us here, and we actually touched the 200 here on the long stem of this candle on May the 6th. But so we'll be watching these areas. We may come down and retest this if we can hold the 150 on the Nasdaq, which would put us around 2272. So we definitely have more downside if that's the case, and see if it'll hold this time. Let's look at gold. So of course gold is looking really good. This 119 area, around this 119, did hold. did some selling. Some people bailed out, and then those people that, other people bought the dip. So we are holding the 119. So it was resistance, and new support. So still looking good for gold. Silver, same thing, around this 1850 SLV, the ETF, holding it. So it's looking good for silver. Copper, not so great. Got a kind of a triangle working here, and we've touched here on the, always look at the daily. So definitely some more selling. It looks like we may go down here and retest this again and see if we hold it. If we break, it's getting nasty for copper. MACD's turned over a little bit. XLF has wasn't real heavy selling today in the financials, but they were definitely weak. Again, we may come back to this, say, 61.8% where we've been before, retracement off the February lows. See if that's where we head or not. And let's see, the VIX. VIX jumped 17% today, back up to 31.24. And you might decurl back up. So, of course, volatility is definitely here. Probably going to be around for a while. And the FXE, which we've been watching. I talked about watching here on the 5-year chart that we broke out here in November 06. We've been holding it in 07. We've been holding it in 08. And we've held this trend line till today. We have broken down with the volume selling on the weekly on the FXE. So FXE, the euro is looking really bad. So, and I think with the dollar flying higher, FXE going lower, the euro going lower, and oil's weak, financials are weak. I mean, just not a good combination, but we will get bounces. But I still think we can definitely go lower. Let's look at the McClellan oscillator at minus 65. We are oversold. Obviously, we can get much more oversold. This is down in the 125 area or something like that, minus 125 area. So we are oversold. Let's look at the point and figures here since it's Friday for gold. Gold, the futures contract, continuous contract. So we have a price objective of $1,310 an ounce. We got as high today, almost $1,250 an ounce. So we don't have tons more to go, but I mean, we can take this out and continue to go, but that's just what the point and figure chart has built as a price objective per the pattern on here. So we're right here, but gold's still looking good. Silver on a buy. Whoops. So many different names for everything. Silver, on a buy signal, it has a bullish price of 29. It's been as high as 1971 here, but silver's looking strong. And then copper has been awful. It is on a sell signal with a price objective $2.44. This 244 is $2.44. So we're right here in this area of $3.21 right here. So copper's not looking great. Let's go look at the sectors. One of the 16 sectors we follow finished in the green today. That was the gold index, which is the gold miners, and it was up 0.51%. The bank index was the weakest, down 3.18%. And of course, there is no chart watch on Fridays. I will post my weekly watch list on Sunday evening. Take a look at the current market signals. Follow the point and figure chart for the Dow, Nasdaq, and S&P. So no changes here. S&P still is on a buy per the point and figure chart anyway. That hasn't changed. It hasn't gone on sell yet. And it would have to drop quite a bit more to go on a sell. Dow, Nasdaq, and Russell still on sells. All right, so I think gold and silver probably still are the place to be for another, weeks to month or two. So look at your gold miners and GLD, SLV, your silver stocks, all those. All right, that is it for today. Have a great weekend, and thanks for watching. And remember, I'll post my weekly watch list here on Sunday evening. Thanks.